What's up, guys? And welcome back to the Hills Youth Podcast, and happy Valentine's Day. It might be a sham holiday, but I know a lot of people get their feelings hurt about that. Today, we've got a special lineup for you. We've got returning guest Mattie Brown, our newest guest, Lexi Tensey, and myself and our very own Graham McWilliams. We talked about a lot of great things today. We talked about memories, not looking back at the wrong, but learning from it, and making way for the good memories, as well as just what's been going on in the world recently. So, it's going to be a good one. I hope you guys enjoy.
January is a very negative month, I think, for a lot of people, not even just because it's like it's always like that, but like I feel like as a culture, as a society, we've all like made January so negative. Like it's always so like that's how it feels. It's just dragging along.
It does.
And I think part of it, a lot of people are like, all right, this year's the year I'm gonna not mess up again.
This year.
And this is my year. And
New year, new me.
exactly.
Sound like Mickey Mouse.
Don't get into it. I'm not even gonna go. I can do a lot of.
It's more like, wait, no, that wasn't it either.
It's more like it's just completely wrong.
It's more like move skill. Sorry.
January.
Just do the Mickey Mouse impression. I can't even do the whole
Hit it
thing.
randomly.
I can just hit that. It's like the Southern accent. All right. Like I was saying, for once I was being serious. Like I feel like everybody going into January is like, I'm a failure. I sucked the last 17 years of my life. But this is the year, guys. This is the year that I am going to be me. This is my year, right? And so I feel like we come into it from a perspective of, I'm not enough, and I'm going to set all these unrealistic goals to try to be enough, and I'm really not going to achieve any of them. And then I'm already burnt out by, halfway through January.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're really just setting ourselves up for failure.
Why do we
coming into the
choose
year
to be like, okay, it's a new year, so it's new me? Like, that doesn't make sense. Like, it's a random freaking Tuesday. You woke up and you're like, I'm going to the gym. I'm going to the gym and I'm going to work out. I'm going to be fit. I'm going to be excited. Like, why do we wait? I literally think about this all the time. Like, why do we wait for a new year? Like, start now. Like, that we say that about a relationship with God, right? We like sit here and we're like, oh, like, I'll wait. Like, no one says I'll wait a week before I start giving my life to Christ, unless they're like planning on going out and partying and doing all these things, right? But in
wait
reality,
till after my vacation or whatever that is.
Yeah.
Right? But like, if you really were serious about God, you're not gonna be like, I'll wait until March. March is like a nice month. No, it's well, I'm gonna start this strong and I'm gonna go to church every Sunday this year and I'm gonna do all these things. I'm gonna get in the gym and I'm gonna do like we come at this at a point of failure from the very beginning. And so I think we have a lot of and I think a lot of people are going to constantly be thinking, oh, I was such a mess up, a failure from last year. And it's already going to have like this dampened mood. We're already over the holidays. So it's always kind of depressing taking it out of the Christmas tree. Fun fact, we had our Christmas tree because like we cut ours down every year. Last year we had it up till like April or something like that. It was great. We took the decorations down, but like, it's like a 19-foot tree.
In
just
Louisiana, we keep the tree up because we'll decorate it for Mardi Gras.
Really?
Yeah. Well, every year. So like every school that puts up a tree, they keep it up.
Is it real?
And it'll be fake, and they'll just put Mardi Gras decoration on it.
So that's an interesting
19-foot real tree.
So that's an interesting, because I don't think we don't have like those crazy like different holidays in New Mexico. What's it like celebrating? Like, what is Mardi Gras? Like,
honestly, no idea. I just know that like that's literally the time to go to parades. You'll get hit with moon pies. I don't know if y'all
What's
like
a moon pie?
Moon pies are like these like frozen solid little things. They look like an ice cream sandwich, but they're just called moon pies. I don't know.
Oh.
And one year, and I will tell this story till the day I die. One year, this parade is happening, and we're all like circled around, like celebrating. The things are going down. These people, I don't know if they gave up or if they just stopped. They throw down the box of moon pies. Not even like one individually, and they're all frozen solid. So these things are hard as a rock, chunking them at people, and it's like you're like dodging moon pies the whole parade. Well, at one point they just throw the whole box out, like not even like dump it. They just throw the entire box. It was horrible. It hit somebody in the head, and they like, but whatever. That's not the point.
Somebody die? Are you telling us about
No,
like?
I don't know if I witnessed that, but like not a murder or like anything like or a death or anything. But holidays are crazy.
Holidays can be crazy.
Insane.
Families can be a lot.
Oh yeah,
holidays.
absolutely.
And like,
Yeah.
And then we get out of them and we're like, peace, see you next year.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's kind of how it is now. Like now that we're kind of slow, now that we've gotten into a slower point of the year, like I'm like, oh, I haven't seen you guys in a while.
Mm-hmm.
See you at Easter, I guess.
Tell me about it.
Yeah, and I think there's this tendency for everybody to think that like these holidays and everything that they revolve the life around the holidays. The holidays are supposed to be the celebration of the life. You know what I mean? And so I think when we have all this priority, everything going to Christmas and the New Year and everything, we come off, and I think January and February is where we hit seasonal depression the hardest, right?
And I think it's especially hard because Valentine's Day is so heavily not Valentine's Day. February is so heavily marketed towards having someone in your life.
Yeah.
Being
Valentine's Day is
being with someone. And I know in a lot of cases so many people don't have that, and then their depression, that negativity in their life continues to like just grow and fester and all of that.
Yeah.
Right. So, like, we have these holidays that are supposed to be celebration and happy, and instead they're tearing people apart. Like, I think, what is our first priority? What are we prioritizing above everything? Because I'm going to say it, like, if you're sad because you don't have a significant other for Valentine's Day, your priorities aren't right.
Yeah, absolutely.
In my opinion. Right? And that's, 15 out of 17 Valentine's Days, I've been single. I haven't really struggled with being, oh my gosh, this was the Valentine's Day I was supposed to have someone. No, it's what are your priorities at? Where's your heart at? Is your heart finding peace and rest in the Lord? Or is it needing somebody else, outside influence, to come in and influence you? And are you buying into this culture of need and of want and of marketing? And so I think it's really hard coming in from all of these different holidays. We have just stuff throwing at each other. We have family that we don't really care about. Great Aunt Betsy that we don't really know, and that like, okay, we'll see you next Christmas if you're still around. Haha. Right? like right, it's this morbid thing, but like, how many times are you going to Great Aunt Betsy's house and trying to have a legitimate connection? How many times are you like we say holidays are about the families and all that stuff, but we're not connecting to each other on a one-on-one setting. We're finding the joy in the marketing for what Christmas and what Valentine's Day, what the marketing companies are telling you you should feel.
Yeah.
You feel alone on a random, what day? On a Friday, like you feel alone on a random Friday because the candy companies tell you it's Valentine's Day, right? You feel like instead of finding joy from Christ, you find joy from the presents you get or you don't get on Christmas. And so you come into this year, if you come into these months, if you come into this, we don't got that much longer on a personal level. You guys are graduating this year.
Right.
I'm graduating next year. Lexi's graduating the year after me. And we're gone. We're doing our own thing. And so, we were talking about before the podcast started about how, kids at high school act a fool, right?
Yeah.
And how are you going, like, if you can't find your priorities and say you're going to be alone, right? And you're going to be on your own, and there's not going to be your mom to wake you up in the morning and make sure you're going. You're not going to have the teachers telling you to go. Look, for me, I'm completely college classes at this point. Lexi, she has 2 college classes, I believe. And I think you can kind of attest to it, but professors, like, they kind of treat you like adults. It's like, you don't have to ask to go to the bathroom, but you're also expected to be there on time. You're expected to do these things. You can ditch if you want. You don't have to show up. But at the same time, if you don't show up, there's nobody going to be holding your hand trying to get you to be caught up or whatever. You're expected to act and function like adults. And so I think this time of year, we have a lot of this negative energy coming in from all sorts of directions. And the fact is, like, we don't got a whole lot of years left to say this is my year. Bryce, I mean, you sold your soul to the U.S. government. Talk about that a little bit. Where's your mental on that?
If we're going to talk about some negativity, so I am very split right now. For those of you who don't know, I have signed on with the U.S. Army, and I ship out in June. We thought I was going to ship out in August, but then I got this incredible job opportunity. But to do that job, I ship out a couple months earlier. And to be honest, I'm so excited. Like, this is going to be a brand new adventure. Like, but as excited as I am for it, there is always the thought in the back of my mind that this is something new that I've never done before. I didn't know that I was going to join the military until about, say, month and 14 days ago. So it's just it's kind of a scary thing, because for 14 years of my life, I've been doing the same thing, chasing the same goal, and that was graduation. I graduate 3 months and 6 days from today. And then I ship out a month later. And like, there's so much fear and anxiety that comes with that. On my mom's side of the family, I'm the first person in 5 generations to go. On my dad's side, I'm the first in 4. So it's like, there's just all this anxiety. I have, other than at church and finding people outside of my family connections, like, I don't have anybody to talk to in my family that's gone through this. I don't have any, so I have to go out and try to be like, hey, what can I expect from this? Luckily, my recruiters are great, and they're awesome, and they're trying to make me feel as comfortable as I can before I leave. But it's such a nerve-wracking thing, and it hit me a couple of days ago. Not even gonna lie, it didn't fully hit me that, like, I'm leaving till like a few days ago, and I was sick, right? I lost my voice. I was running 103-degree fever, and the worst part was it was my mom's birthday party. So I had to miss out on my mom's birthday party. And my entire family lives here in Farmington. So they had this party. It was with my grandpa, my aunt and uncle, my mom, my dad, and my sisters. But I was sick, so I had to stay. And missing out on that kind of just wrecked me. I was crying in my room. And as an 18-year-old guy, you don't like crying. But like, something about the idea of like, I just missed this and I'm not going to have much time left to do this. Like, it just wrecked me. And so for me, I'm really just trying to take it one day at a time and enjoy the time I have left with my family, with my friends. I've been spending a lot more time with my girlfriend, making sure that everything in my life is wrapped up before I leave. And like, I'm really excited to start this job. A part of me is a little bummed that I'm not going to have my summer vacation, because I thought that I was going to get that. And now that I'm not, like, like, the crunch time is now. Like, I don't have time to waste with family, with friends. So that's a little sad, and that's like a negativity thing that I've been competing with right now. It's not that I'm regretting my decision, because I'm not. I'm super excited to join and serve my country. It's the fact that my life is changing, and it's not just, oh, I'm moving to Albuquerque and going to college.
Yeah.
Like everything is flipping like
Mhm.
that. I'm
Yeah.
getting thrown into manhood. There are going to be things that are expected of me that no one else is ever going to do in their entire lives.
Mhm.
Yeah, so like it's a little nerve wracking.
Mhm.
Am I excited to do it? Yes, I am, but it's a part of me is still trying to figure out that part.
Mm.
So that's just what I've got going on in my life right now. Luckily, even though I'm fighting this negativity and like, oh, like, what are you gonna do with the rest of your time? What if you waste it? Like all that stuff. Luckily, like I said, I'm very close with my family. I hang out with my family all the time, and I have groups of really great friends that I spend so much time with, and they have just been a great out for me, and just making sure that they are a part of my life right now. That is the most important thing to me, and that is how I fight the negativity.
Guys, to the audience, most of you probably aren't shipping out in the next couple months. But, I mean, I think we don't have the story's the same. We don't have a lot of time left. We're in a series right now called Don't Look Back. And I'm like kind of looking at myself like, okay, I'm going to be, I'm 17. I'm going to be an adult soon. I'm done with, I've been done with high school for a while. I'm going to be on my own soon. I'm going to, I'm going to move out. I'm going to work forward and try to achieve the things I've been dreaming about since I was a kid. And I can't help but catch myself thinking, man, like the little childhood memories that like, oh, next time I do that, wait a minute, that's not going to happen because that hasn't happened since I was 8. And, my next birthday party, my last birthday party was 6 years ago. And ultimately, there's not a whole lot of time on our hands, and we don't have a whole lot of time to sit here and regret and to look back. Right? We talk about in Genesis, look back, you turn into salt, right? You turn into a pillar of salt. And I feel like that is how time can be if you're always focusing on a time that isn't now. The YouVersion verse of the day from a couple days ago was, give us today our daily bread, which is from the Lord's Prayer, obviously. And maybe it's not obvious for some people, but that is, I think, a great, just God, give me what I need for the day. And help me not be caught up with the anxieties and the worries of the future and with the regret and the agony in the past. Recently, Vaughn gave a message, and Paul talking about how he ran a good race in 1 Timothy and all that stuff. I mean, this was the Hitler to Christians, right? He made it his life's mission to not only persecute and shut down the faith, but to kill as many of the believers as possible. And he is coming from a place of, I did the best I can. I ran the good race. That's where I want to be at when I'm 10, 20 years from now. I don't want to be worried about what did I do? What could I have done when I was 17? What could I have done when I was 21? What could I have changed in these areas? Man, if I didn't make this, if I didn't go down this road, I don't want to be worried about that for the rest of my life. I don't want to struggle with that anymore. Because the fact is, a lot of my life has been spent looking back. And I'm telling you, from an outsider looking in, regretting is one of my biggest regrets. Mattie, Lexi, do you guys have anything on that topic?
I mean, okay, and even this may not be exactly what you guys, I mean, I know it's not exactly what you guys are talking about, but the whole fact of like, just kind of the fact that we don't have the most time in the world, right? We're all kind of running out of time. And on top of that, not just the fact that, oh, we're running out of time in school, we're running out of time with our families, like the Lord comes back. And I'm not saying like, oh, it's in the next 3 days. You know, we don't know the time or the day or when or whatever. But I do know that that's something that like I look towards. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
And not necessarily the let me worry about the future, but it's the why am I not worrying about the right now?
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And I think a big portion of what I focus on is like, oh, like I'm having fun, you know, I'm doing these things, and not necessarily like I'm having fun in the worldly manners, but you know, like where are my priorities right now?
Mm-hmm.
And so the biggest thing, and like even recently specifically, that's something that's just really been on my heart, is it's just like, what if I died today, if the Lord came back today,
Yeah.
would I be in heaven or would I be in hell?
Yeah.
And that's something like we are running out of time. Like every day we run out a little bit more time, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and not even just that like death event, you know, eventually.
Yeah.
And even those things like, why are we waiting to get things right with God? Why are we saying, oh, after high school, I'm going to stop doing all these things, or after college and I'm going to parties and I'm living worldly? Like that's when I'll fix it all. Like that's whenever I'm going to focus on it, and that's when I'm going to get right with God. And you hear so many people that grew up in such a worldly atmosphere talk about the fact that, oh, I wish my biggest regret is that I wish I would have given my life to Christ sooner.
Mm-hmm.
And that's something that I think about all the time. That's kind of honestly what keeps me accountable, is just the fact that, yeah, like I don't know how much time I have left. So why am I waiting to fully submit to God? You know, like why not now? Why not take that leap of faith? Why not say, you know what, like I'm going to quit today, and even though it's hard and addiction is hard and struggles are hard and all these things, they're difficult, and I completely get that. I've been there. But why not say, you know what, like I am running out of time. Why can't I give my life to Christ now?
Mm-hmm.
You know, and there's so many people around the corner that could help with that. I know for me, that was my old youth pastor, right? Like she was such a huge and major light in my life. She really was. And I will talk about her to this day. I'll probably talk about her for the rest of my life. She found me in such a low moment. And I just know that like I was genuine, like I was wasting my life away because I didn't care. And because I didn't think about, oh, like I was like, oh, I have tomorrow to fix it. What if I don't have tomorrow? You know, that's not guaranteed. That's not promised. And I just know that you have people around your corner that are going to help you, whether you know that or not. And there's some people that are in dark places and they're like, oh, I only have like 2 friends. I don't have anyone. I don't know what to do. But in reality, like people that like love the Lord already love you,
Mm-hmm.
you know? So like reach out. That is one of the biggest things, is like when you're thinking about it and you're like, oh, I want to give my life to God, you know, the biggest thing what you can know is that the people that love the Lord the most, they're there for you regardless.
Yeah.
They don't even have to know your name. They don't have to know anything about you. You know, like we're here. And I think that's a major thing. And I know that kind of got sidetracked, but that's kind of where I stand on it, like with regret and with waiting for so long.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we don't know if tomorrow's promised. So I just feel like, yeah, don't waste time. Like time is so valuable, regardless if you believe that or not.
Mm-hmm.
But
I think. No, go ahead.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you. I think a lot of the time we take the moments we have for granted. Like, I'll do it tomorrow. It's all right. I'll do it later. But we don't know how much time we have. But going back to what you were saying about regret and living in the past or living in the future, I think a lot of the time we allow the fears of the future or the regrets of the past to keep us stuck. And I think Lot's wife, when she became a pillar of salt, she's stuck. She can't move.
Yeah.
She can't go forward. The fears from in the future and our regrets from the past keep us stuck. They don't allow us to grow. We stay stagnant.
Yeah.
And I think we live in that a lot of the time. Like, I know I definitely have, like, I could have done this better. I should have done that. It's not about, like, the mistakes you've made, but how you come back from them.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
My favorite Bible verse, Acts 20:24. However, I consider my life worth nothing to me. My only aim is to finish the race, and to complete the task that the Lord Jesus Christ has given to me. And I think it's all encompassing, and it has to be. It can't be your number 2, right? But I encourage you to find a purpose, and when I am very purpose-driven, and when the things I'm doing today reflect the purpose that I want tomorrow, I tend to be less stuck in the past and what I should have been doing then, and less worried about what if it doesn't work out? What if everybody hates me? What if I fail in these areas? What if I go broke trying to do this? What if if you have a purpose and your purpose is in God and that He's your number one, it will always align to where it should be. Maybe it's not what you want it to be.
Yeah.
Because I've had that happen a lot. I've wanted things to work out. I've wanted this, and I've prayed and I've begged, and God, why can't I have this? And there's something better for you.
Yeah.
And I've seen that over and over again with I can give you a dozen examples right now. But just making sure that one foot's in front of the other every day. Lord, give us our daily bread. And making sure that when you're putting the one foot in front of each other, making sure you're walking the right direction. And you do those two things, God will put you exactly where He needs you, and exactly where you need to be, and He'll bless you for listening to Him.
Absolutely. I wanted to add on to something you said. I read this the other day, and it like completely was like, whoa. It was talking about your what ifs turn into even ifs whenever you follow the Lord, right? Yeah. You're like, oh, well, what if this doesn't work out? What if I don't succeed? What if I don't do this? It's like, no, even if I don't succeed, I'm still going to trust you. Even if I'm not here, I'm still going to trust you. Even if I'm not getting all the things that I want, like, you're still my Lord, you're still my Savior. And I think that when you fully devote your life to Christ and you give your everything to Him, like you're saying, like all of your, well, what if this doesn't, like it changes, your perspective changes, right? Like, and then the whole thing with like, it's not a have to, it's an I get to, you know, like so much of our life changes. And when you have a real encounter with the Lord, I feel like everything in your life is just like, you know, like everything's rearranged, everything's changed. And yeah, we have our days. I have my days. Sometimes I'm like I don't want to get out of bed, or I'm like, ugh, like this is a horrible, horrible day, right? But there are still the days where I wake up and I'm like, you know what, God, like, even if this doesn't work, it's still good, right? Like, even if anyways, but yeah, that's where I stand on that.
Yeah, I think that's totally agreeable. And you know, what I was talking about earlier, I don't have the time to look back anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, look back on my regrets. I'm sure as heck going to look back on the good times and remember the fond memories that God has placed in my life. Let me tell you guys, God has done some wonderful things for me in my life. And He's done so many great things. And specifically, like in my church life, we didn't come to church a whole lot, but I started getting plugged into youth, doing all those things. I made great friends, and I was just given all this opportunity to grow. And I still struggled a whole lot with different things, but being here and getting those experiences really did help. And you know, I was here from the very first Rush conference, and I didn't realize last year that it would be the last time that I was a student at one of those. And when I heard what day I was going to be shipping out, I was taken off guard. I was sad that I was going to miss my last Rush conference. I was sad that I was going to miss that. But there was also, let me tell you, there was also like a calm that came with it. A calm knowing when I was leaving, a calm knowing that there's a plan now that God has placed in my life. I did not, when I went in and they were trying to find a job for me, there was nothing. I was going to have to be infantry. And like that was all I was going to have to be, which I would have been thankful for, but I would have been on the front lines of battle. They called me on a random Thursday afternoon and said, Bryce, we have a job opportunity for you that just opened up. And it was exactly what I had been looking for. I was like, just reserve it for me. Let's do it. When I found out the day, it was sad knowing I was going to miss my summer vacation, but I knew God had put that in my life for a reason, and I knew God knew that I was ready. That I've been here for 4 Rush conferences, and each one was better than the last. I have to say.
Yeah.
But God, using those and using the experiences I've gotten, God said that I was ready to start the rest of my life. And it's going to suck not being here with my friends, experiencing that one last time, but I'm still going to do my best, and I'm going to remember what I've learned. And I can't wait to come back and hear what you guys did from this next Rush conference, because I know that Vaughn's cooking something up. Who knows? I know that we're not leaving this year, so but that we know of apparently. But every Rush conference I just know has been better than the last. Such great memories. My Rush conference is where we met G. That was great. Back when, what grade was G in when he first
4th.
came in? 6th grade. So
I think he was in 5th grade because I was in 6th grade.
Okay,
yeah.
so G was in
crazy.
5th grade, and I was in 8th.
Oh,
That's insane. That seems so long ago, but it doesn't at the same time.
Yeah.
But that is insane. And I remember this one time, we were all the groups were chanting and like just getting in each other's face, like, we're gonna win. No, we're gonna win. And one leader like picked him up and threw him because G like lost his voice and was like, and we were all wanting to do it, but she just did it.
Yeah.
But just so many different, like we've all been to a Rush conference, right?
yeah.
What do you guys picked up from him?
I mean, on the topic of G, my first memory of him was him throwing a football at my face and like thinking it was so funny. I almost got hit, but it's G, so he can't throw a football anyways.
And you know what? We talk a lot of stuff about G, but we wouldn't be here without him.
G's
Half of the stuff that we do in this ministry would be infinitely harder without him, including this podcast. He's the executive producer. And so he puts this thing together day after day. He had a thing today, so he was only able to get here on time instead of 2 hours early like normal, and we were already scrambling without him. But I think that's another. G is a person that is amazing in the position he's at, and when you can find those people to surround you. Mattie was talking about being alone and feeling like you're alone and nobody's there. And I've been there even recently with people that I thought were supposed to be there for me and weren't. And I'm as I'm maturing and becoming an adult, I'm needing to push and move forward and find the people who are willing to be there. And I'm realizing, man, there's a lot more. I isolate myself. I'm alone because of me. And I isolate myself, and I choose to not acknowledge the presence of people, and I choose not to seek help, and I choose to do those things rather than nobody likes me or they all want something from me, which has been areas in my past. But that it goes back to the past, right? I have a fear of being used because I've been used a lot, and that isn't fair to the people who are in my life who just care about me and just want to see me win. That's not fair to them because I won't let them in because of something that happened 5 years ago. That's not cool. That's not all right. And just understanding, finding the 50-50, finding the balance with letting people into your life and making sure you let the good people into your life, like G, who's done an amazing job with this podcast.
I can't believe you waited till you left the room.
I was about to say he's not even in here anymore.
I can't tell
he
him.
Can't,
I can't. He can't hear it.
He can't
Look,
know.
I'll let him. He can hear about it when he edits the podcast.
Skip the footage.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. You guys. So speaking of like people that we've met and doing everything, when I think of church, when I think of someone that I've met who has drastically changed my life and probably predicted the future, Remington Michael Dean Stotts. You guys want to know a crazy story? So I think everybody in this room remembers the day that Remington stabbed me with a knife.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, I
Me
don't.
too.
Oh, yeah,
weren't
you
there.
weren't
You
here.
were in
This was BM.
the dirty South.
This was BM. This was before Mattie.
You were in the swamp.
So we were putting up
Okay,
a
sure.
9 square. This thing's old, like not old, but like we're trying to put it away. It's like so cold, like the buttons are frozen, so we're like struggling to like take it off
The 9 square button.
and all that stuff. Well, Remington gets the bright idea to take out his pocket knife and start jiggling one of the buttons. Well, I jump up and try to take off one of the straps. I land straight. It was a freak accident. Cuts me right there.
Oh.
I got 8 stitches on my hand right there. I got asked about it when I went to MEPS. They were like, "You got stabbed with a knife?" I'm like, "Yeah, it was my friend. He did it on accident." He like, you accidentally got stabbed."
Yes.
Yeah.
Very
But
much.
you want to know what we found out? That knife that he stabbed me with is a U.S. Army knife.
It was meant to be from the get-go, bro.
From the start.
I mean, that's crazy.
It's like a vampire bite, dude. You got like stabbed with the U.S. Army, and now your curse is to just be a U.S. Army member, and you're gonna like stab somebody else, and then they're gonna join the U.S. Army. Stay away from me, bro.
Don't stab me, please. I'm not going to the
But-
army.
Remington he's a fun guy. We started working out at the gym recently together, and so it's kind of like switched. Graham used to teach me how to do lifts and all that stuff, and now I'm doing the same thing for Remington. So it's kind of just a cycle. But Remington has been there through the thick and thin of my life. He's been the one that's been teaching me Bible verses. He's a year and 8 days younger than me. He's the one teaching me about Bible verses. He's the one who's getting me out, teaching me how to do life, basically teaching me how to kill things and all that fun stuff. But Remington has been that person and has been what? Yeah, killing animals.
Kill animals.
Killing animals.
Allegedly.
To clarify, we're not. He might have stabbed me, but he stabbed no one else.
Allegedly.
We
You
think.
remember when he broke his nose?
Yeah, that was awesome. I
Twice?
did
Back when Vaughn let us play fun games.
that.
Was that watermelon game?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I
No,
heard
we were
about
all
that.
on a wet tarp
Ew.
with soap.
Okay,
It was
wait.
watermelon
Actually,
soccer.
we did like something like that at
That's a
camp
little
one
weird.
year. We were on bouncy balls and it was soapy, and all the watermelons had soap on them, and you had to like bounce
That's
with your
what we-
watermelons
That's
we
kind of
did
what we were
all
doing.
the way to the swimming pool, so you could put it in the watermelon. Have Vaseline all over it. So it was like,
Yeah,
dude,
it was like
horrible.
a. No, yeah, he totally converted it, and it was like a 2v2 like handball soccer thing, to where you try to get to the other side. And me and Remington on opposite teams lined up 7th grade. He had beat me in a game a couple months before, and I was still like a little mad because I thought I was bigger than him because I played football and he didn't.
Touchy
And-
subject.
What?
Touchy subject.
I was really upset for 7th grade. Graham was
We shed a tear.
ego. Yeah, 100%, 100%. And so we gonna run. Go.
Oh,
Headbutt right there. But I knew it was a hard headbutt, but it didn't feel.
Yeah.
I was like, did not feel that bad. I thought that was gonna feel way worse.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden he's getting pulled out, and his nose is like all sideways.
Oh,
It had like 2
no.
surgeries. It was great.
The sad thing is, it was a 3v3. I remember exactly what it was. It was Graham and these 2 girls. I can't remember who they were. And it was me, Braden, Remington.
And I was trying to carry. You know what I mean?
And Graham was trying to carry because even though Graham is a year and a half younger than me, he's always been bigger than me.
Take that L, dude.
So he was trying to take all 3 of us at the same time. Me and Braden slipped past him. That's when Remington broke his nose. I threw one of the girls. I didn't even notice that Remington was gone. Oh, that brings up another story. Anybody?
We gotta stop. We gotta sign NDAs, dude. Like,
I didn't know Remington got pulled out until we actually won that match. Me and Braden
I'm
did.
so mad.
And
He's
so it was a
still pissed.
3v2 and we still won. And I got up. I was like, woo! I was feeling good about myself. I was like, I just beat Graham and 2 girls. Like, And I got up, I was like, where's Remington? And everybody's freaking out. I'm like, where's Remington at?
You were so locked into this.
I was so locked. My sister has a video. I was like scary. Like, it was, like,
I don't see that.
It was like scary. I went into the building. Remington and Chad are walking out of the bathroom, and his nose is just flagged. It's crazy. Yeah. I'm like,
did anybody take a picture?
Holy crap!
Yeah, picture. I don't know who has him.
And then I offered to get him Sonic, and I never did. So.
No, have you still never gotten him Sonic? Oh, dude.
Dude, the games that we used to play are one.
Still.
Remember when we played musical chairs and me and Jillian started fist fighting?
I remember that.
I don't remember this.
I remember that.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Was I?
It was the first night Marcus and Erica were here.
Yeah.
And we literally
I literally don't even remember when they started coming.
It's musical chairs. It's not that
musical
deep.
chairs is dangerous. We tried playing that at my school once, and a girl flipped it, and one of our teachers fell on his butt and almost broke his tailbone.
So, I mean, we talk about looking back on the good things, Bryce. For me, it's what we've kind of been able to do the last 6 years here.
I know. It's crazy it's been that long.
It's been 6 years.
Half a decade.
Yeah, we've been consistently serving at one place for 6 years, putting our effort into that. And I think we've seen the rewards. We came in, me and you. I guess you came in. Did you start out in 6th grade?
So I came to youth in 8th grade.
So you're 5 at this point.
Yes, I've been doing this for 5 years. And I came in during 8th grade. I made friends with a couple of great kids. And I tried to lie about my age because at that point, Vaughn didn't care about me. And I tried to lie about my age, and I got away with it for like 2 weeks. And then
wait, what did you tell people?
I told Vaughn that I was in 9th grade, but I told Vaughn I was in 8th grade so I could continue going on middle school nights. And someone sold me out, and Vaughn was like, "Hey, you're going to high school nights now." Oh, okay.
Did you ever find out who?
Huh? Oh, I know by who.
Your friend sold you out, bro.
Yeah, I know.
Dude,
Was
it was Grant Bessie.
Oh, of course it was. Was it actually?
He didn't know that I was hiding it, so he was like, "Oh."
Oh.
But honestly, like there was some goodness that came out of it. Like I got to start serving on middle school nights, so I still got to hang out with my friends.
Mm.
But I became friends with Zeke, and that was great. And me and Zeke and Logan would sit together on Sunday nights for that year, and like made some friends, in the high school area. It was great. What is wrong with you?
Bryce is telling me about his friends and making you laugh.
No, I'm so
well,
sorry.
Mattie left all of her friends, so.
No, it wasn't about you or your friends. It was. I can't even think about it.
What are you laughing about?
I'll talk about it later. But I literally think about this all the time, like on a random, like freaking midnight, whatever. I'm thinking about that one viral reel.
Jesus bled out on a cross for our sins. What are you doing, Mattie?
No, I'm thinking about, was it you and Logan that made that video?
Oh, estrogen twins.
I was like,
we're going to throw that up right now.
Zeke and Logan, like we used to edit literally. I think about that, Zeke. I think about that all the time. Like, you know Madison, right? And like sometimes I'll be sitting in class and like I'll talk to her and she'll bring your name up and I'm just I'm just like dying, like, because that's what I read. Like when your name brings up, that's
I
what
can't listen to the
poor
song anymore. I
girl.
can't listen to Poker Face by Lady Gaga.
Was that the song?
Why are we listening to that
the,
song?
That's the back. I can't listen to it.
Yeah.
Look up.
Did
They
y'all
made it to
delete
Reddit?
it?
Who put it on
That's
Reddit,
funny.
dude?
Dude, that was
marketing
I literally I would read the comments every day and be like, new ones. Like, it was so funny. Oh, that was hilarious.
All right.
Sorry.
I'm
What
gonna
were we
just
even saying?
restart this whole segment.
No, it's okay. It's okay. So, but yeah, so helped out on Wednesday nights. Then you guys moved up, and that's when the team started. That's when we put me on lights, Zeke was on sound, you were on Pro Presenter.
Good old days.
And it has been that way for the past 3 years.
Come back to sounds, Zeke. Come on, dude.
And
he's not even listening.
we have
Not
built
even
up
paying
that
attention.
team.
Not even
We
paying
have built
attention.
up that team. It's become a good, coherent group. We've changed the way that things are done. It's been
Yeah, all of
great.
us have. I think we've been put there for a reason.
I'm so sorry. I just think this is so fun.
Poker face, poker face.
Wait, I have to turn around and do my back and like take. That's so fun. Woo!
Because that's what we're doing.
So
We're advancing the
serious.
name of what I like that we did. So about half a year ago, when Sarah Garol was still here, R.I.P. Sarah. She just moved to Albuquerque to be closer to her grandson. We miss her though. She's
Sarah.
the
And
greatest thing to
Eddie.
happen to our group. But we started praying before every service. We were praying over that we could enhance the message so that maybe some of those middle schoolers would walk out getting something. And to be honest, I'm pretty proud of us. I think that we've done that for the most part.
I think, when we're looking back at the positive things, I think God has used us. I think I've seen this youth group mature. I've seen it all the way back from PHSM to where we are now. Some people wouldn't know, but like
I felt that was targeted.
it totally was. No, but I think we became something better, and I think that's what we're here to do. And if we sit here and think, man, like there's a lot of things that I shouldn't like. If I woke up tomorrow as a 7th grader, you can bet I'm making a whole lot of changes. But I cannot allow myself to, going back to the looking back thing, you can't sit there and look at regret. Just take the lessons that you've learned and apply them towards the future. And I think I'm proud of us. I think that we've done over the last 6 years. I've seen this ministry grow. I've seen Vaughn, his everything change.
He got skinnier.
Did he stay the same height?
And he tried growing a beard, but
I don't know.
still-
The
He's
beard
shrinking
isn't
in
working out.
size.
Yeah. Anyways, Bryce, he's gonna call you out one day, bro. You're
Yeah, I
gonna
know.
keep making fun of him for like being fat, and then he's gonna be like,
He's not fat anymore.
Were you ever fat?
Oh, bro. So we went to Albuquerque over the summer, and we met this guy. His name's Mark. And Mark used to live with them. And Mark was showing us pictures of like when he lived with them. And Vaughn had a belly. Like love handles and a belly.
Like a beer belly?
No,
No, it was like just a chunky belly.
I think my dad has a beer belly.
I think
But that's besides the
Yeah.
point. So we work in production. We volunteer in production, and we've changed the production area. Girls, you guys might not do production, but like you guys are still a core part of the volunteer group that make up Hills Youth. What do you guys do, and who do you like credit that to?
well, I know we both do life groups. You do 8th grade.
Yeah.
And I do 7th grade. I know for my girls, they are 7th grade girls, so they're a little boy crazy. I love you guys, but gotta pull it together. Anyways, I think that my group has had a big breakthrough recently, and it's cool to see where we started out at the beginning of this year, because I know we had a switch up, and that was something I was super upset about. I was like, why don't I get to stay with my girls? But I've seen God move in my girls from last year and my girls now. And I think it's cool to have those connections of my girls from last year and then the growing connections. Well, growing from both sides. Because I have girls that still come to me and, you know, I go say hi. They've grown up a little bit. I've grown up a little bit. But I just think it's cool to see how God's moving over time.
Yeah, absolutely. I do around pretty much the same thing for like middle school. So I did 8th grade. I was also upset that I wasn't gonna be able to stay with my kids because like 6th grade such like a big year, and then they jumped into 7th grade. And I was like, I wanted to be there for that, but at the same time, like I said, like the what ifs turn into even ifs, right? Like you know what, like even though this changed, like the Lord is still showing up, and I see that so much in my 8th grade kids, and like Reagan, like even last Wednesday, we took a minute. We were all like, okay, like, you know what? The presence of the Lord isn't like, he hasn't left yet, and he's not going to leave, obviously. But on top of that, like, we want to stay in this moment. And we literally went into youth, turned all the lights off, and we sat there and prayed for like an hour. Like, we turned on worship music, and we just sat in his presence and prayed. It was the most like beautiful thing ever, right? I loved it. I got to pray over some of them. It was the sweetest thing. And then on top of that, things like that are happening here, and even back home, I get to see these people that I like obviously would set apart. I had done a lot of, like working with these people and talking to them, and now most of them are in high school, and it is the coolest thing ever because I'm watching them step into their calling like fully and like independently, and not, I can rely on this group on a Friday morning, but instead like they're showing up and they're doing major things. And that's so cool. Like, even though so many things in my life have changed, and even though so many groups and the people that I've discipled, like you can never be upset with who the Lord sits at your table, right? Because everyone's there for a purpose. And I think that literally like through this season of life, the Lord's really shown that to me. Just kind of the fact that, I ask and I'm like, God, like give me someone to pour into. Like I can't complain about who he sets down at this table, right? And so it has been such a growing season for me, not just in Hills groups and not just in kids ministry and in these different things that I'm doing, but it's been such a crushing season. And what I mean by that is like an olive little seed, right? Like when you have to crush it to get the olive oil, whatever. Like, and we talk about like olives like all throughout the Bible, whatever, but like crushing is how you produce the best. Like, right? You have to go through a crushing season. And I think this season of life for many of us, like we go through seasons like that. And it's honestly literally the coolest thing ever. And I've never been so excited to go through like hard seasons, just because the Lord really changes your perspective in that. On top of it, I don't know. I'm just watching all these people go through things like that, but they're coming out so much better and so much stronger. And you start to see the growth from the seeds that you planted way back when, and I know you see that. I know you see that in your girls now. And even for me, like I see that through everybody. And it's so epic. It is so cool. And I know you guys also, y'all see that a lot through like you, obviously kids ministry, like stepping up, dude.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm a second through third grade classroom coordinator. After being a volunteer for 5 years, I'm finally a boss.
Yay.
So that's what I get paid to do, and I honestly love it. Some of those kids, like some of them can get under my skin sometimes, but it's also just really rewarding. This past week was probably one of my favorite weeks with with some of my classes. We were pretending to have the devil on the shoulder and the angel on the shoulder. And so I had to sit some of the kids down and pretend to be the devil and the angel, and asking them which one they would choose and like how they navigate this situation. One of the kids in my class, I'm not going to say her name because I want her to have privacy. I don't want to name drop any of my kids, but she's one of the sweetest little girls I know. And she volunteered to do it, and we did it. And she started laughing so hard she fell out of that seat, and it was just such a great memory with those kids, and like getting to be like, they're learning. I'm able to make this fun for them, and they're learning, things that I didn't learn at their age.
Yeah,
like that has been definitely one of the best things I've gotten. Yeah, it's just been so much fun. I love those kids so much. They've impacted me too. I've only been working for about a month and a half, and they've definitely impacted me. And I hope that I'm impacting them. But it's just been so much fun. But Lexi, you're kind of in a unique situation among all of us. So we all volunteer. I volunteer with my sister. You volunteer with your mom.
Yeah.
How is that?
Yeah.
I know I started off by myself, but my mom serves in life groups and in concession, and I know she serves at the school too. But I think it's really cool to serve the same group of people together, and I enjoy seeing her at youth, and I think we get to come home and talk about the God stories that we both see from our girls. And yeah, I enjoy it a lot, and I think it's really cool to see the different areas all connected and united in how God's moving in all of it. But yeah, so I'm really thankful for my mom, and yeah, it's really cool to serve with her.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I think it's really nice to serve with family.
Mhm.
You know, I've got my sister Graham. You've got Grace, who you're related to. Ella's
she
not
is my
quite old
sister,
enough.
right?
My
Hold on,
sister.
hold on. You know Grace is my sister, right?
Yes.
You were like, you've got Grace, who you're related to.
Oh, I said Grace is your sister.
No, you said
Dude, anybody who doesn't know that you guys are siblings, you guys
You guys
are
look the
identical.
same.
Y'all look
I
The
know,
same.
I'm
similar.
aware. Yeah, dude.
Dude, don't
you
do
Y'all
know
are
that.
identical.
It's kind of scary, but the
Yeah.
way you said it was like, yeah, that's your relative. You're related to them, and I'm like,
I've been to your house. I know she's your sister.
okay, I'm just saying. That. I'm just saying. She wasn't there when you went to my house, for the record.
I know. Mattie, Ella's not quite old enough to volunteer
My
yet.
my parents volunteer. My dad's like a marksman table leader, and
That's
then
cool.
my mom, she does like welcome.
And my mom.
She hands
Mom.
out papers, but my mom's so sweet. She's a lot. Mom, I love you. She like does the little like things in the morning.
She's on the welcome
sometimes.
team.
Yeah, the
She's on
welcome team.
You don't even
And
know.
we're trying to get her on the worship team because she can sing. And my dad can sing too, but neither of them will do it. My dad?
You, bro.
No.
You're
get
on the worship
y'all
team.
get to see
Yeah,
that
Mattie's
Wednesday.
on the worship team.
We
Yeah,
already
show up
talked
on
about
Wednesday and
the-
you can see Mattie sing.
show up.
Are
I
you-
say show up on Wednesday like this is gonna be published. Like
Are you excited? to be on
Yeah.
the worship team?
Show up 2 Wednesdays ago
Can
from
you
when this
sing
comes
praise
out.
for us like right now?
no.
That was really good.
Anyways,
Lord,
anyways,
Oh,
my
no.
soul.
But anyways, I'd like to talk about my family for a minute if that's okay. Or are we out of time?
Yeah, you can talk about your family for a little bit.
No.
She said, "Are we out
I know
of
we're
time?"
definitely out of time, but I don't really care. Bro, my family is incredible, and for those of you who know them, y'all know how like cool they are. Marcus wishes my dad would read him a book sometimes. I don't know why that's a thing, but like he's got that like
your dad.
yeah.
You read him books?
No, Marcus would come up to me and be like, "Man, I just really wish your dad would read me a book," and I'm like, "Okay, well, I don't know what that means."
Is it the accent?
It probably is. He has like a very like calming voice. I don't know.
Do you remember that time that I called your dad because I was on staff and I was thanking
Yeah.
him for tithing and you just walked in the room and
Is
just
this
caught me-
Bryce?
just caught me talking to your dad?
You're like all professional, and then like I catch them all. Anyways, going back to my family, they've always been so supportive of me in everything that I do. Mainly because so I've moved a lot. No, I say a lot like it hasn't been that many places, but I've moved a lot through like middle school and even through high school, and so one of the biggest things I've taken away is like stop waiting on other people. Like you start making moves, you know? And I really like I try to push that on my family sometimes to the point where they're like, "Mattie, bro, like calm down. Like I will get there when I get there," you know? But in all reality, like I learned so much from them because my parents sacrificed so much for us, you know? And I see that all the time, and it's honestly like the sweetest thing ever to me. And when we first started moving, I was obviously like very like resentful of all of it. It's just like, bro, I didn't even blame my parents. I like blamed the Lord. It's like, you wanted me to come here. Anyways,
New Mexico
yeah.
of all places.
no, not like the first time when we moved to Mississippi, I was so upset. Y'all, my neighbor was Paramore. I feel like we should really talk about that.
What's a
Anyways,
what?
Paramore, y'all know the band Paramore. She sings "Still Into You," and like, anyways, I'll show y'all after this. Anyways, she was my neighbor. I think that's really cool. But going back to what I was saying, I've always been like so hurt by a lot of the decisions, and I didn't necessarily blame it on my parents. I blamed it on the Lord, but parts of me were like, my parents are doing this to me. Like, they just want me to suffer. They don't want me to have friends. But in all reality, like, I look back on it now and it's like the fact, like, they sacrificed so much for me and sacrificed so much for my sister. And my dad sacrifices so much for my mom all the time, you know? And you look at it and, like, obviously, like, they don't want to move all these places either. So why am I sitting here upset? And on top of that, I almost burped again. It's happening, guys. On top of that,
big milestone.
They're just like they try to get involved, and it's honestly the coolest thing ever. And growing up with parents that are involved has been, obviously there's highs and lows of everything, but one of the biggest highs is that I've just found is like how devoted they are to the Lord and how devoted they are to like giving up whatever they can for us. And that's honestly like one of the sweetest, most rewarding things that I found. And I know most of us in this room can kind of like agree with that in a sense, you know.
Family is a super important thing. I think, especially when we're younger, we don't appreciate it as much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I know for me, me and my sister were really tight, really close. I went to Sweatness this morning, and she went over to Starbucks which is next door. And she came over while I was waiting for my burrito, and we just sat and talked about life. So it's nice having a relationship with a sibling like that.
Absolutely.
Knowing that you have that rock. Obviously, my parents help serve in my room every so often. They're involved with my life. My dad is a wonderful provider and has sacrificed so much for my family. But my mom is like a rock.
Yeah.
She's the rock of the family. She's taking care of everybody. And we might not appreciate it when we're younger, but you appreciate it when you get older.
Absolutely, yeah.
So.
Back to the supportive area. I know my parents are super supportive of everything I do. They're supportive in school and just life in general. But for those of you that don't know, I've been doing dance for 13 years of my very long 16-year life. But I know it takes a lot to pay for it, and it takes a lot of time from my parents, and I appreciate that a lot. And in school, they've supported me whether I failed a test or aced a test. And I know that's something a lot of people don't have. Their parents expect a lot from them. But I'm really thankful that my parents encourage me and don't tear me down for the wrong things I do. They encourage me to do better next time.
Yeah,
That's good.
that's great. Yeah.
You know, I think that I think it's about having positive people in your life because God knows there's a lot of negatives. I'm grateful for my family and everything they've done, whether directly or indirectly, to make sure that I have the opportunities that I can. And I've seen the negative people who you will find them. Like if that person doesn't come, like if you don't see a couple faces, you will at some point. And those faces will change. Those faces, the people I've had resentment with, you learn to move forward and to not look back. We're in that sermon series right now. Don't look back in regret and in fear and in what you wish you would have done. Instead, allow those people. And I have a lot of people who have resentment towards me to this day. I have a friend's parents never spoken to in my life, but I gave the 8th grade graduation speech. And I made a joke that, like, in that speech, obviously it was enough that, like, I sent the whole script to the, counselor or whatever, and it was fine. But they still don't like me from my 8th grade speech. Yeah, and it was actually making fun of myself, like the joke was. And so it's like, you're going to have those people that are going to have resentment towards you all those years later for things that, whether they were your fault or not. And if you will let those voices, like, guide your paths, you will become just like them.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's a lot of people who are, this person did this to me and they made me who, they transformed me. I used to be such a loving person, whatever. You're no better than them. You let that take grip in your mind and your soul, and you let that person have more power over you than God's will that should. And that is a very, very easy way to derail your life and your path. And so for me, I'm just super grateful that I'm in a place where I don't have any major resentments at anybody. I've made my pieces. I've done plenty of people wrong, and plenty of people have done me wrong. And those negative people are still, I have negative people that are still trying to get into my life, and still going out of their way to speak to me and to get a last word in and make sure they know that they hate me or whatever. And it's one of those things that, you can be stuck there. I'm not going to be stuck with you. And so I just think it's, guys, find the good people, find the positive, and weed out the negatives. And be able to admit when you're that negative person, because I've been that negative person a lot too. And so come to terms with that and make your pieces there too.
That's great. Well, I think that's about our time for this evening. But thank you, Mattie, and thank you, Lexi, for being on this episode of the Hills Youth Podcast. Happy Valentine's Day, everybody.
Valentine's Day.
And we'll see you in the next one.
Woo.
Yay.